We are now live. Camera, hello.
Hi.
Um, Welcome to the extremely quickly set up revision
We're good.
day
We're good.
1.5 Compo studio.
He went
Um,
live.
we
So,
have next to me my
but
favorite.
yeah, I don't see it.
It's not Nordic,
I don't see it from
Scandinavian. You're not from the Nordics. You're from Scandinavia.
On both.
Yes, you're both. My favorite person from the Nordics on the internet, and the
That's
favorite.
the person sitting next to you, yes?
Yes, and our favorite fuzzball right in front of us sleeping. Hello, D.Fox, how you doing?
Hey!
So hi, I'm fRANKy, that's Laguber. We have Truck on the Jitsi somewhere with a very bright light behind him, so you can't really see him, which is awesome. And we are gonna see, we're gonna yackle a bit about the latest. Okay, the camera's over there, not over there. Like mental note, camera's over there. And we are going to discuss a bit the competitions from. It's Saturday today, Revision Saturday. That's where we are. We've had lots of Compo blocks, lots of nice releases, and cool competitions. I am fully professional, so I did not take any notes. The Cooper did. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, let's just jump in. So you want to walk it through compo by compo. You want to start with the overall feeling, how this is. Basically, we have an open schedule here. We have 4 hours of Amiga characters behind us, so that's our deadline.
Hold up. When's the first compo tomorrow?
First compo tomorrow is early afternoon.
Okay, so like around 1 or 2? I'll check the schedule.
Quickly check the schedule, but
Main thing is,
the first,
I need to make sure that I get some sleep,
our sleep is overrated.
I know, but
We're
I need to
we're
make
running
sure.
on 3 hours of sleep and lots of beefy sausages. More or less
Oh,
1 o'clock.
Okay, 1 o'clock your time?
Yes.
Okay, good.
1300 hours RST, revision standard time.
Yeah, so that's... Yes, I just adjusted an hour and I'm fine. Okay, good.
Yes, you do.
I now shut up, so Laguber can speak.
We'll see how long it lasts.
Okay.
No, I think it's, let's just start at the beginning and go through the day and we'll talk a bit when we get...
Sure.
Yeah.
I really want to hear what the musician in you is thinking about the music compos, and then me and Truck can yackle about the old computers,
Yeah.
and then Spook can talk about the PC 4K.
Yeah.
Because I
That
think
sounds
that's
reasonable.
each has their area of expertise.
Yeah.
Do you also want to touch the shader stuff, or you want to jump into the compos?
No, I think the shader stuff, I mean, we're done with that, so that seems like a good place to start, I guess.
Go ahead.
No, I thought, as always, it's always good. I think the final was good. I really enjoyed Evil's entry in that. Just kind of like, it just amazes me how the boundaries are pushed every year. It's just more and more and more and more. And I mean, I've been following it since, well, I guess more or less since the first time I think it was at revision.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just like the envelope is being pushed every year, and it's really cool to see. And usually also really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, I was really happy that it moved away from what I call organic blobs.
Yep.
Just like things that move in and out with spikes and rotate, and that you saw like effectively objects being built that I can recognize.
Yeah.
Like I really voted for that crane with the egg.
Yeah.
I gave it 5 stars because it was something different. So that's what I think is nice, where all the shader showdown has gone now. Also in the final, the box of reflecting balls.
Yeah.
Was like, okay, this is different, and it's.
Yeah, X-Cos one, that was good.
Yeah, that was excellent. And of course that brings back me to the Amiga days, where you would have your ray tracer and you would have an animation of shiny balls going around. So that's where I go into. But luckily, there's other people with different opinions because else it would be very boring.
Yeah, I think the interesting parallel, at least for me, is that you see similar things in the very small intros, like the 256 byte stuff we have as well. Like it just has come a long way in, let's say, the last 10 years perhaps, where you just went from these one-screener things that were kind of simple, and suddenly you start having like, right, so someone's doing 3D, and then suddenly Helmut did a mega demo, which is like
True.
so it's I think there are very different kinds of competitions, but it also is a bit like they follow the same trajectory of just starting out somewhere simple, almost at the point where it's just cool that this is possible at all, to just like the level just being raised and raised and raised and raised, and it's really cool to see. So I enjoy that a lot.
True.
And,
There's I do think there when it comes to the size coding, there's lots of online events happening, and then I guess that we have to give some good credits to the guys from
Love Bite.
Love Bites with Super Rogue.
Yeah.
Putting that together. I tried to catch some of it, but sadly not everything.
No.
But there's a lot of things going on there, and that's really interesting to see, certainly as a absolutely non-size coder.
Yeah, and I think similarly on the shader side of things, and just to bring it back, it's obviously have the Paris crew, the Cookie Collective, just doing stuff, and just a really amazing online community doing jams and things for fun. So I think that's yeah. It's been really fun to just watch the evolution of it, and this year as well, the Shader Showdown Compo was great. I think I'd like to, outside the final, I'd like to shout out Blackill's little Boston Dynamics walking dog from, I think, the quarterfinal yesterday, which I also thought was just really cool.
The walking.
Yeah.
That's actually a strand based. It's a Dutch artist who makes these big contraptions that walk on the beach and they're wind powered, and that was one leg from it. But he puts them like 20 in a row, and he lets them loose on the beach, and they walk around until they break apart.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's funny.
So they're called a strand-based, a beach animal.
Yeah. But yeah, regardless, I really like that one.
No,
just,
that was
just
like, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. And I think just to talk about it as well, it's just like now we had this, and I think online as well, it's maybe a bit different. But it's also, and since I wasn't the DJ this year, I think I can say it without being too much of a sourpuss. I think that sometimes it would be nice to have the music more upfront. I think that when you have a constant running commentary for the shaders, then the connection, which is supposed to be there between the music that's also being performed live, even though we have it recorded, it's still being performed live when it's recorded, and usually we will have it live on stage as well.
Yep.
So I think that aspect is maybe sometimes a bit lost in deference to the running commentary, and I think that balance can maybe be pulled back a little bit again, because it's very often that even sitting in the audience at a party as well, you will hear the music somewhat in the background, and then you will hear the commentary. So that is something that I might like to see for. Yeah, in the future again, just maybe take it back a little bit to where the focus was in the first place. I think that. So I'll allow myself to say that.
I'll allow you to say it as well.
Excellent, thank you.
So there you go. Let's see quickly with the truck. Did you manage to follow the Showdown truck?
I did. I saw all of them, actually. Now, can you hear me still?
Yes, perfectly. Go ahead.
Okay, because the microphone is in the off position, or the mic box, and that's because it is no longer hooked up. But it confused me there because I've been commenting on things all day, and
anyway, I can confirm we can hear you.
Yes, wonderful. I saw the not get wrecked fake dog. I thought that Emma Goose improved immensely from the last time that she was on. I think she's going to be a contender in ones to come. I'm looking forward to see what she does. I I thought Evil did things a little bit differently the first round and even the second round. The third round was kind of a bit like the second round, but then he changed it. I thought Exka did extremely well, considering, he was a last minute replacement and everything. I mean, that's up there. Um, I thought, oh darn it, I can't remember who it was that wasn't in the showdown, but did something in the jam. I thought his shaders were off the hook as well. Um, but there's a little difference between doing a jam and being in the showdown. There's less pressure. Um, yeah, I enjoyed all of the things. It I still am. It's not the place to do it at revision. But to what Luguber was saying before I get to that point, before I forget. Um, I know that, for instance, Ronnie's streams were available without the commentary, so people could actually listen to um, it without the commentary if they wanted to. And I think that's a good idea. I think we should maybe do that as well. Provide a commentary track for the people that want it, and then the music track for the folks that would just like to groove along with the music and see what's influencing the folks on stage or in remote. But revision is not the place to do this suggestion that I have. Um, but I really want to see um, a a two-tier knockout style uh, shader thing at some point, where you can be voted wi- in a head-to-head. You're voted down, but you still have the chance to be like you're in the upper bracket, and then you have the lower bracket, and then if you get
Yeah.
knocked down from the upper bracket to the lower bracket, you still have the chance of running the gauntlet and taking the whole thing,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I
So you're allowed one
yeah,
bad session. Yeah.
Yeah.
because I mean, there's a lot of times when people are just getting going, and the pressure about halfway through stops hitting them, or they just get the idea, and then, oh, okay. um, and you know, as some people have pointed out, there's a lot of memorization tricks to some of the folks that are doing
Mm-hmm.
these, and the folks that are that are newer don't necessarily have all of that yet. Um, so that would also allow that type of thing to go in, because you've got you know, Evil and Black. I mean, Blackle on her website has a bunch of her memorization tricks, which other people could pick up and use, and some of them are really clever. I don't remember any of them, of course, because I've been, you know,
Okay.
commentating. But
I think
yeah,
it's an interesting idea. Of, that's one thing about that, but also I mean, since the rounds are basically drawn and are random, then that means that you could have potential like a final worthy pairing already in the quarterfinals at revision with the setup you have now. So that's
yeah,
also like an argument for doing like this loser bracket thing. And I think obviously that would be more time consuming and more people, but I get where you're coming from. Um,
it couldn't be done at a revision, but it could be done at, well, for instance, when PS is doing his thing, um, not at Inertia, but they had like that pancake thing. Um, uh, Something like that. Um, and it's just kind of a showdown uh, for that event. Um, that would be,
Mm-hmm.
it would have to be something more focused on that than throwing it into a demo compo, or I mean
Okay.
a demo party.
All right.
Uh yeah. Did
Shall
you
we
have
shall we
something
jump to the
else?
compos from today for a
Yeah,
second?
compos works.
All right. We started with track music, as always. Usually to wake everybody up on Saturday noon, after the first Friday of the welcome drinks. And I have one track that jumped out for me, which was Takeshi Kuvox Purgatory by 8 BM. I think also because, as was mentioned in the commentary from I think you and Subi was Subi and Hoffman, a very Belgian track that I liked. It was very EBM slow techno.
Yeah, it's like the classic kind of what they call, I think they call it new beat.
Yeah.
The one that was like just before techno in a way, that was very like inspired the early wave of Belgian techno, like the bonsai stuff and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So for the record, bonsai is not new beat, but yes, it follows that. So yeah, that was very actually bonsai is a bit harder. This was very close coming to EBM. So and not say front 242, but you will go into like Neon Judgment thing or what today new bands like the Juggernauts are still doing. So that style, that was something that was like, okay, cool, I like this.
Yeah, I guess I'll just be pedantic enough to say that I don't think bonsai is necessarily harder, but it's faster, in a way.
True,
because it has that Belgian kind of like oomph.
Yes, the default Belgian four to the floor.
Yeah.
Exactly,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I agree. I like that track as well.
Then the obligatory Oki, that shit broke.
Yeah.
It's I find it wonderful how you make one pattern and you make the entire track out of it.
Yeah.
But just keep adding a few channels at a time. That was really
I liked
really
it.
cool.
And I also think first of all I want to congratulate Oki for doing something for the compos.
Yep.
According to a certain podcast, his cables project did not come to fruition because of a very well deserved vacation, but still. So at least he got something in the compo, so that's good.
Absolutely.
I think also about Oki's track was I really like breakbeats in 4 to the floor techno.
Yep.
So it was nice to hear that. I hope that sound makes a comeback.
Okay. Any other tracks that stood out for you?
I think that would be the obvious one and the last one from Lee Cube.
Yeah.
That was just really, really good. I liked other stuff as well. I liked Lynn's track.
True.
I thought that the track with Saga Music and Bacter sounded really, really good. It's not my style of music, so that's
Fair
not
enough,
my cup of tea. But it sounded awesome, and just really just nice sounds and nice soundscape. So I think that would be the standout tracks for me. But yeah, just like the Persuadertron, which was Lee Cube's track. It just had this very cool, unique vibe, which I really liked, and also some interesting switch up and some neat little tracky tricks with some speed ups and slow downs, and just kind of like, so it had a bit of everything, a bit of like the technical tracker stuff, which is cool to see, and also just a different vibe and a cool idea. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, good to hear. Swak, anything for you from the track music, or do you want to jump to Askianzi? Ask Petsky.
Well, the one thing that stood out, kind of along the lines of what Laguber was saying, was the Bacter and Saga track, and I pinged Steph on that one because some folks were saying, yeah, this is going straight into her cozy playlists, but that track was just perfect for just putting it on the background while I'm coding or working on something, and just having as good relaxing music, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that with that one. There were a few other ones that I remember, but yeah, let's jump to the let's jump over to the demos, or not the demos, but the other things.
Yeah.
I've also Keneal just showed up, and I haven't seen him for 5 years, so I'm half distracted here with that because I need to talk to Keneal. But yeah.
All right. Let's do quickly Askianzi then.
Okay, that works. I loved the compo. There were good things in it from start to finish. I tried to put, as I said, stuff in all the way through that, some of the stuff that I really liked in the beginning, but end with the ANSI stuff because folks, really tend to like the colors.
Here's a suggestion.
Yeah.
You go talk to Keneal and leave your connection open.
But then you're just going to hear me typing.
you can mute yourself and you can talk.
That actually is harder because we started too
Okay,
quick.
well then we just keep it as is. I'm giving you a
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah,
It's up to you.
I'm just gonna do the stuff on the ANSI ASCII really quickly. It'll
Okay,
take me
cool.
about one more minute.
Sure.
I'm thrilled that we had the that. Well, first of all, we now have we have an info file for revision. It was
True.
confirmed that the thing from the fellow from Portugal. I can't remember what his nick is now, but yeah, it's going to get used, and that's fantastic. I also just adore the Little Nemo piece. Of course, the fact that I was put into one of the pieces and it's got thanked for keeping this going. That means a lot. Um, especially after the year, 2 years, 3 years that I've had. Um, but yeah, I'm just really thrilled with my compo.
I think
It's
the way
not
you,
my compo, but
the
it's
way
the
you're
one that I
looking
run.
for is by Harvest Constellation of Satellites.
Yes, Harvest. Harvest
Yes.
was the one that yeah, just could not remember his nick. It's been a long day. Um, That's what I got on ASCII and ANSI. I'm thrilled with it. Also, yeah, the C64 thing from Pretzel Logic, spectacular, and the teddy bear, just yeah, that teddy bear is going on my
It
one
is
of
a
my
nice one.
screens.
I agree. That's a really kick-ass Petsky. That's in there. Right. Any executable stuff you want to jump to?
Well, we would have to jump to intros and so forth. I'd rather. I mean, you have a lot of other things like animation and the 3D thing. Although I did kind of say my piece on the 3D thing, but we have quite a few compos before we get to the executables. So
Well,
I,
it's up to you. You're free to hang around. So
yeah, no, I'm completely fine with hanging around. I mean,
okay,
Camille is not going to be here all that
then just do
much
that.
longer,
It's
but
fine.
I want to talk with him for a little bit.
Then
Yep.
okay. So let's jump back to you, Luguba, for a sec. So
Yep.
ASCII something you want to of note, or do you have
That is pretty far from my field of expertise.
exactly?
I enjoy it, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Indeed. Yeah. I see. What else we had? We had the old school music as well.
Yeah, that's. I don't have any particular things on that. I thought I'll be cheap enough to say that I missed an entry from Elman, I guess. With some nice things, some less inspired things. I guess the thing for me is I like to see things moving forward. So I'm not really I like the stuff from the 90s and the 80s for that matter, but I like those tracks, and kind of doing the same style in 2022 doesn't really work for me. And it's just like it's not put down. People should do whatever they want, whatever makes them happy, and whatever they enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me.
I did get the feedback from some that because this is old school music, which is basically executable music for everything that's not PC, is that with the latest advent of Amiga Klang and others, there's lots of Amiga stuff coming into the.
I mean, you have some really good synths on the Amiga now. So obviously, Amiga Klang is interesting. I've tinkered slightly with it. It's good. Aske Blueberry did his synth, and there is one or two more which I probably should know the name of, but haven't used, so
That's
I
fine.
can't.
I don't know them either, so it's fine.
I mean, the possibilities that you then suddenly have are interesting for executable stuff, especially when you have a size limit, because it enables you to do stuff that's not just kind of like chip tunes or very kind of small sample stuff. Then again, I've also done tunes for 40K intros without any sample generators at all. So it's possible to do different styles of music for like old school things, even with size restrictions, if you want to. But it's obviously as Hoffman pointed out one time we discussed it, it's just like some of us are obsessive and try to like do stuff like that. Hoffman is a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm.
And others just want to make music, and that's
Yep.
perfectly fine.
It is.
So but it's a bit hard for me to yeah, I don't really have like the. I mean, I will get. I have the Thundercats, the Atari ST version, as my ringtone on my phone.
Oh dear.
So yeah, well, it wakes you up, to put it like that. So it's just I obviously have a lot of love for the old stuff that's from my kind of youth and my childhood, but is because that's fixed to one certain period of time, and I don't. It needs to be very special for me to enjoy the same style 25 years after.
Yeah, indeed.
In a way.
Yeah. What I also real quickly want to touch is because this was the first time that we had to do a pre-selection for old school music, also for track music.
Yeah.
Why we have a 1 hour slot for the compo, and there's a jury that listens to the tracks. You give a score from 1 to 5, and then the top tracks is what you pick until you get to an hour. And we did get some messages from people that were understandably not happy.
Yeah. No, it's just I mean I've been there too. It's kind of
Correct. Yeah. You've been, yeah.
There's being pre-selected out is rough. At the same time, I've also been a comp organizer for at least 3 different parties, and it's usually the problem is that the music compos are accessible. Like you can do it by yourself. You can and which is the same for the graphics competitions as well. But the graphics competitions are a lot quicker to. So if you have 30 images in the graphics competition, that's fine. If you have 30 tracks in the music competition, you have 2 hours.
Yes.
And so it's a hard balance to strike between. You want to entertain your audience, you want to like have a good compo show, and also obviously please the people who have taken time out of their life to create something for your party. And yeah, it feels bad to be turned down, to be pre-selected. It feels bad to pre-select stuff, because yeah, people get disappointed, and I mean, why wouldn't they be? It's for musicians like us, like amateur musicians, really, who will not like play concerts or have their music played on radio or in a club or something like that. Then getting played at the demo party is one of the few times you are likely to hear your sound being played for an audience on a huge sound system which is a great feeling. So yeah, it's being snubbed of that feels bad. Some people will be very disappointed. Some people can be unreasonable about it, but it's a necessary evil. It's just like the alternative is to have like 2 or 3 hour music competitions or music compo shows, and that's just not feasible for a party. And I mean, depending on the pre-selection, even in demo compos has been done as well. You will stretch a bit longer for demos because the effort again is a lot bigger, and but still it's kind of like yeah. And I mean also with the some of the old school demos like C64 stuff, it's typical like you show the demo and then there is a 5-minute scroller at the end,
which
and you will fade down the audio and take it out, which is kind of in the same.
On that topic, I quickly want to mention the Finnish Gold demo. Go download it because we cut it at 8 minutes and a bit because that's our maximum length in the compo. There's 2 more parts after that, so we decided. Usually, you say you cut in the greetings or in the end scroll. That's like a safe spot to cut. So we had to cut it short there. The full demo is 12-13 minutes. So there's 2 more parts in there. You can download it from our website or from CSDB or scene.org, the demo zoo. Check out the demo. There's more content there. Just want to put that out there because we know that Proton worked really hard on that demo and it deserves to be seen.
Yeah.
And same thing goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also the thing with the music competitions. You have a time limit on a track for a reason.
Yes.
And for people like me who make club music, 3.5 minutes, which is the typical standard, even 3 minutes. It's, I mean, that's a short amount of time in a way.
That's pretty short, yeah.
So, and I mean, if you do stuff for a music competition, it forces you into let's call it a more not commercial, but a more approachable format at least. Like you can't use 5 minutes to slowly build up your beats like you would in a club
Yep.
tune, and that's just how it is. And I think it's also like that is something you will have to accept if you decide to join a competition, because there are rules there, and as long as they're stated up front, I think you just then by entering you
Yep.
you
tend to agree. Yeah, you
have to accept
you agree
them at
to
least.
agree to the rules. Yes.
So that's your and at the end of the day, it is a competition.
Mhm.
So there's also that. I think there's which is an important aspect of our culture. So the fact that not everyone's a winner is part of what we actually do, because we're calling them competitions for a reason. So it's, but yeah, I understand it's rough, and it's obviously disappointing not being shown. It's
Yes.
not difficult to understand at all. And I think it's just also, yeah, I would normally I would point out when I've been organizing compos that if we took out your entry, whatever it is, not necessarily it's because it's bad, it's just that there were other stuff that's better, and we have, like you said, we have a 1 hour time slot that we want to fill. That is the
Yes.
time we have. So yeah.
I'm gonna I quickly have somebody get past the cameras. Just take your time. It's fine. It really did. Okay. Shall we quickly touch the graphic compos?
Could I insert something here?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead, Truck. When you're go ahead.
So on the, it's a compo and so forth. One of the things that I was dismayed was not about, it wasn't about a compo. It was instead that I'm again seeing and hearing people talk about the meteorics and saying that so-and-so was robbed because they didn't get the laureate, but they were nominated. And I don't know, you know, it's a cultural thing. Some cultures, they just cannot um, deal with the concept that there are, you know, all of these things that have been nominated. Those are the things being put forth and being given the award, all of them. It's just that, hey, this one here is the one that we chose to highlight. And that it's not a winner, it's a laureate. And I don't know how to get that across. It, uh, I, it, and then the reason I bring this up is that one is not a competition. And I don't know how we make that distinction. And maybe it's just me, but I mean, when I see people saying that so and so was robbed, but that person was, or that group was, you know, nominated, they've been told by fellow sceners that, hey, you inspired me, and your thing was something that was, you know, gave me more gumption to go forward this year. Um, that's one of the things that I when I first was at Breakpoint and I saw the Scene.org awards, that's one of the things that sold me on that this was more than just um, you know, demos and so forth, but it was a full community, and it was very supportive and building itself up for doing better things. I'm rambling a bit here because I'm tired, but that I would, I don't know how to get that across. And I would hope that someday in the future, we actually can get that across, that it's about being nominated, and the nominations are, you know, um, that's the thing.
Well,
The
it's
laureate
it's
is,
the honor.
yes, the honor. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
I think well, the thing is just like us. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree. At the same time, it's if you choose to highlight one more than the others, then you are sort of picking a winner. If it's not like it's not a winner in a competition sense, but it is something that is being highlighted even more, if you'd like. And
Yeah.
I think it's just, I think also I would like to say that usually And I mean, we had this. This is also a thing with compos as well. People are always complaining about result and just like the blah 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 that the production did not deserve fifth place and so on and so on. I think also that's very often it's the fans, to call it that, of the productions that are complaining, and usually not the authors themselves, who more than often not only is happy about being nominated, but also tends to congratulate whoever is winning, in lack of a better word. So it's to me it's very often like a bit of a not made up, but at least blown up point of contention, I guess. That's at least how I look at it. But it's obviously, I mean, it's. I remember being with Ferris the year that Logicoma won. Or and I'm saying winning, so I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, we all do,
Yeah.
and that's the difficulty. Yeah, but go ahead.
But yeah, and it's just like, and that was he was immensely proud about that. They were all proud, but I was sitting next to him, so that was I got his immediate reaction, and so obviously it means something, and I think that's, and it's also like you say, because it's different than a competition. It's being nominated by first of all your peers, and it's also not in the heat of the moment during one's compo. It's basically trying to see the year under one, and it's yeah, I think it's definitely, I would use the word honor, and I don't know, but then again, but yeah, it's not a competition. It's not something you have necessarily entered, but you do have to agree to be nominated. They will ask the nominees if they would like to,
Yes.
and some people won't for various reasons. Either don't want the attention or whatever it is. Doesn't
So
really matter.
we both know somebody that absolutely does not want that.
We do know that.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's so yeah, but I think it's like I said, I think it's mostly the fans and not necessarily the people being nominated themselves that tends to you know, whirl up some dust.
I think you're right there, and that is a very one of the things that, you know, back, you remember when we had the Scene.org awards at the Gathering,
Mm.
and Fairlight was nominated for like 87 awards and basically had won 86 of them. That was a different thing than the Meteorics, and one thing that happened there was that we had people that burned out from the jury, because the jury selection was very different, and there were people that got into the jury and they were doing the fanboying things, and then people that were trying to be more open and give honor, and not just fanboyism. They got burnt out, and I guess part of my concern with it is I don't want to see that return. Because I did speak to people who had been jurors, and they said, yeah, I will never do that again. That soured me on the entire demo scene at that point, and I never like to hear that. So I may be oversensitive to this, and I'm glad you pointed that out about that it could be fanboys, because truthfully, fanboyism is a thing we all do, but it isn't necessarily the most positive or uplifting. I'm failing at words right now.
I think it's at least it has some potential to be destructive, although it doesn't
Yes.
have to. There is
Exactly.
I'm fanboying for a lot of people, but I don't think I necessarily. You have a choice if you will then just be very enthusiastic about somebody, or then if you will be negative to people who are not that somebody in the same process. And I think that's two different things as well.
Yeah, and when you step over that line, that's when it's bad. You can toe that line, but step over it and you start being destructive, and I am opposed to that.
Yeah.
All right, I've derailed the stuff for a while.
No,
I'll
I was just gonna put you back on the rails now. So good
yeah.
timing.
We still have like 3 hours left of
Yeah,
Crackdoors,
yeah, we
right?
have like
Yeah,
3
yeah.
other tractors left. Yeah, but we have to see that the moment we hear Steltec snoring in the back, we have to we have to stop. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how many folks are there down there?
7.
7. We're 7.
7. Okay.
6 organizers and 1 visitor.
Yes. And 1 fuzzball.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, D.Fox has to be there. So
Indeed. So no, there's 7, 8 of us here at the moment, and it's good to see each other again, and it does help with communication that you just we literally shout to each other throughout the building if we need something.
yeah. Well, we're not doing that as much. I mean, we can't do that here. I did offer to CGI, do you want me in the room next to you, or over here? We decided to go with this room because this room is better lit. There's more.
Are you in the big studio or in one of the small ones?
I'm in the small one. I think I pointed it out to you when you were here,
Yes,
but that
yes, you
won't
did.
help.
You did.
That won't help anybody else. But yeah, I'm basically in a 10 by 15 room.
Yep.
And by myself, and then CGI is about 50 meters away, and Amink is also over there. Amink is helping out. That's a major improvement. But I think the big thing really that's helping this time is that I'm actually able to talk to folks while things are going on. That has been a problem in the past, is just getting a communication conduit going. And it's always a last minute thing. And that is, with that open, we're able to accomplish a lot more than we have been in previous years.
Yep.
So, all right, back to the stuff for you, and I'll be silent for a while.
Okay, we were gonna come to some of the graphics. So we had 3D graphics and the photo compo mostly, and an animation video. But let's just do the more.
Could I
visual
start with the
aspect.
3D?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I had said on the stream stuff about the change to Blender and whether things were a demo ready, and Halsey pointed out that yes, his demo his piece was actually demo ready, and offered he gave examples of how it was done. And then we had another person who actually, that was their first production for the scene, entered a new piece in there. And he's joined us on IRC, and he's from the Fediverse, and just had seen, stuff. We've been talking about it for the past year, and decided a week ago that he'd like to participate. And so he did. And I think that's fantastic. I always like to see when folks join us, not necessarily from the traditional areas, but yes, that's what I have to say on that, because I said a lot about it during the stream. So
You sure did.
We have a new person here.
Right there.
Hello, Spook.
That's the camera over there.
Yeah, camera's over there.
So yeah, I heard my name, so I thought I might join you. I don't know what it's about because I just heard it
No,
half a year.
the question was like, how many people are there in the building? And so there was like X amount of people, so this many organizers plus 1 visitor, D.Fox.
Yeah, sure. And the dog.
He's
And
an organizer.
yeah, he's an organizer.
He's an organizer.
definitely, yeah.
He's in the entertainment department.
Yeah.
and morale, entertainment, and morale.
Yeah.
Morale and shedding.
Shedding, yeah. This carpet is actually not a carpet, it's just dog
It's
hair.
just like this. It's just like I came into the hotel room and I was full of like small white hairs.
Yeah.
So That's fine.
Ja. Schon klar.
So there.
We were in the graphics competition.
We were in the graphics competitions. Yes. There was, I think, for the 3D graphics, we added Blender this year.
Yep.
That you could add Blender files, images. I don't know. I'm a 2D person. I don't know how that works. So I
It's
cannot
like
do
you
it.
just add a dimension.
I am plenty of dimension here.
Yeah, let's just imagine one more.
One more.
Or maybe not.
That's ego. That's
Yeah, yeah.
also that's also available. So I think all entries were Blender.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
And I think it helped to make it more accessible.
I think so too. I watched some of it. To be honest, I was trying to take a short nap, and while I was trying to nap, I was watching the 3D Compo, and I remember a couple of them, and I think how many entries did we have? At least twice as many as last year.
I
Last
think
year,
We had four.
last year
or
we
something?
had 4. Now we had 8.
8. Yeah, okay, and yeah, I think that seems to be that the idea that we had to make this accessible to a different audience seems to be working. I mean, 8 entries in the second year is not that bad
Also,
for a new concept, at least. Yeah. I
also
like
one
this,
of
yeah.
the one of the entries was sent in after the deadline by a father whose kid had made it
Okay.
and wasn't able to upload it. So we also that was that was the Tempest arcade machine.
okay.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. That was pretty nice.
So that came in
Well,
via
the Tempest
via
arcade-
mail after.
Wait a minute. The Tempest wasn't the arcade machine. The Tempest was the robot.
Yeah, like a robot.
Oh, the
Yeah,
robot,
but
yeah.
Okay,
it was called arcade machine.
Well, the arcade machine was the Moon Patrol.
Correct, but the Tempest one was also called arcade machine.
Okay.
It's the name and the object. So anyway, but yes. So the Tempest robot, and then you had the Moon Patrol machine.
Okay. So he did the robot rather than
Yes.
the Moon Patrol machine. That was a bit more complex. That's very cool.
And,
How
I
old
think-
was the kid?
I don't know.
Okay. I'd be thrilled if they were less than 10. I mean, that'd be awesome.
I do not know. Anything else on the 3D?
No, I don't think so. I think, but yeah, like D.Fox already mentioned, whenever you introduce something new, it's not atypical to see that you have for like the first couple of times.
It takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a while for it to kind of both the people to, I guess, decide that they would like to participate in it, and also for competition to kind of find its form in a way.
I mean, for the 8K, I think it took 3-4 years to be at a quality level that we imagined it could be. Yeah. Yeah. And now I think 3D graphics. I mean, the idea came from basically from within the scene, and there was a demand or like an interest to mobilize is the wrong word, especially in times nowadays. But to energize, and
Enthusiastify.
to bring enthusiastify. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just bring people.
Invigorate.
Invigorate. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, just bring people who normally don't have much possibility to present their stuff only in a demo, or like if you make a complete render, which is much more work than just making one great
Model,
3D
basically,
model. Yeah.
or a scene.
And I think I mean we'll see next year if it grows even more. I see the potential for that.
I think, like, regardless of that, it's always important to try out new stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And see if and sometimes you have ideas and they don't work out, and then you just put it in the waste bin again and try to figure out something else. And I think especially to come up with like a bit of like a low threshold of entry stuff for individuals is always important, especially for people who are kind of like coming into the scene and they don't have a group yet, and maybe they're not going to be able to do a demo this year, but they can do something,
Yeah.
and yeah, just be in the compo and participate and feel like they're doing something. I think that's very important for people to get into it, and also to get noticed.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's the thing as well. It's just like there's a lot of examples of people who started out just doing stuff in a graphics compo and a music compo, and suddenly someone would be like, yeah, so we'd like to have a soundtrack for our demo. Then you do your first demo, which is a bit shit.
Yeah.
But you done your first demo, and then you kind of start your career, so to speak.
I think basically, I mean, if I remember correctly, I was starting with 3D graphics and that ray tracing, and that's how I got to make my first demo, because people said, hey, you're doing great, well, acceptable 3D graphics, so do you want to make a demo with us? That's basically the same thing happened to me, because that was my entry to the demo scene, was 3D modeling and rendering.
Yeah.
So yeah, that seemed I like the idea that every couple of years we try out something. We have to. I mean, demo scene is not a fixed medium, even though some people might argue that it is or should be. We have lots of fixed platforms, so that's still okay, but that doesn't mean we cannot evolve. Yeah.
No, and also try to reinvent what is happening is important, and then you will always have the staples, which is like the core of our scene, which are the actual demos or intros, but still like I mean that is the main product. They're last in the compo shows. That's what we do, and then everything around that is always we had executable music compos in various forms, various types of graphics compos. And this, I think it's important that it's both for keeping it a bit fresh and also to try to engage more people, different people.
Yeah, I wonder what will come up with next in a couple of years. I don't know.
I've mentioned it to a guru as well. The folks at the Scene Lounge at Assembly have been very good in running a one effect compo.
I remember that.
Because that's also very accessible. You will have I want to say kids, but because it's assembly, but you will have people that they can make like a shader, an effect, but they don't have enough content to make a full demo, and they they don't have the skill set to make a 4K or an 8K or a 1K out of it.
Yeah.
So they're kind of stuck somewhere.
Oh, look at I mean, you can't really look at the thing behind you. But right now, now it's switched. Well, that's a bad one also. But the crack throws, often they were one effect, and people would do one effect and they'd get recognized, and then you'd see people doing a demo. So, yeah, it's to what you were saying. But I just wanted to say, yes, it has been always a part. The one effect thing has always been there. We just never highlighted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's something, if we should add something, that would be my proposition. I'm not saying that we're going to do it, but that would be my suggestion.
Let's not turn the Compo Studio into an executive board meeting.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I was already ramping up in terms of like
I
know how cramped our timetable is. So
that's the one thing that I was expecting, is that somebody would come in and, okay, now here's our timetable, and where are we going to put this thing?
That would be me, actually.
Yes, your job. Yeah. Usually I'm the one like, you can just wiggle around a bit. You can fit it in there. Like the 3D compo, sure, we have 10, 15 minutes.
Like as you said, it takes a few years to get going.
Yeah.
The first 2-3 years, do we really need Askiansi?
Yeah.
And every time I said, dude, it's 10 minutes. We're not gonna save a lot by axing that.
But then, a couple of years later, it's like an hour compo. Maybe not Ansi-ASCII, but others could evolve into that.
This was like 10, 15 minutes again. But anyway, this is not a board meeting. We'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'll just, since we mentioned it, I mean, I'll be reminiscent back to the times when we were in direct competition, when I was still doing The Gathering. And we had, obviously the Gathering had already kind of, it's started way earlier than that. And being this kind of combined, like assembly is like a bit of a LAN party, a gamer party, and just a general kind of computer enthusiast party. And then with, everything that comes to it. and we had a lot of people who weren't into the demo scene but would like to do something creative. So we did that kind of rebranding, calling ourselves Creativia instead of demo scene, to just be less exclusionary, basically. Still doing like the demos, that was the core, that was the soul, that was why we're doing it. And then we tried to find other competitions and did some brainstorming. So, okay, so what can we do that's like has a low barrier of entry, like anyone can do. So we had like an MS Paint graphics compo, and just call it that. And then obviously people were doing, zooming in and doing old school pixel art like it was an Amiga, because you can do that. But just by calling it an MS Paint compo, it kind of makes it less dangerous, because everyone has that. If you have a Windows computer, you can fire a paint and you can draw a red house by the sea, and
it doesn't sound scary like old school pixel graphics or something.
No, it's exactly. And I think it's just kind of like, so we experimented with stuff like that to try to just get new people interested in the compos and being active participants in the party, instead of just sitting there being consumers, which I think is also important.
Sure.
I think that's part of it too. Is just like trying to find something that's new and fresh. I mean, the 8K compo is not. You could argue it's easier than 4K, but an 8K intro compo is not for beginners.
No, it's not. You could
more
argue
like
today that 4K is actually kind of a beginner's combo, because there are so many tutorials out there and everything. I could probably whip up a 4K in like a week or two.
Yeah, but then
learning
LJ
some
shows
things
up
to
and
do.
you go home in shame. So
Sure, but still, I would have made a 4K.
yeah.
No. You have a 4K generator.
Probably. Yeah.
No.
There is existing.
It exists.
Okay, I didn't know.
You throw in your shader toy, shader, and it pumps
It
out the executable done.
Yeah, same thing with the 1Ks. One of the early Scrolly magazines here in Finland, and then the next year, basically everything, or the next 2 or 3 years, it was that same article, just with a different function in it for a load of different things. And well, that eventually went away. But to what you were saying a second ago about the tutorials and all these things, in many ways, the 256 and the size coding things were also that way. But because of the community behind it, that Lovebite brings out that community and shows them to people, and they help each other and help new folks, and then of course the TIC 80 portion of it, it's become much more accessible. Preacher of Traction and then Brainstorm, he used to say the best thing to do as when you're starting is to do a 1K or a 4K, because you don't get into the trap of making this huge thing and running out of time, or having pacing issues or whatever. It limits you, and that actually causes an increase in inspiration and creativity.
Yeah,
And then you
especially
go
because
from there.
especially because you can finish it in like a sensible time frame.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like I think the first demo I participated, we worked on it for 6 months. It was the first demo production I was part of, and it was just insane, because we knew that people can do demos in like a week or two. We were just not there yet. And I wish I had started with something smaller, because it would have been much easier, much more like rewarding, I guess. Because you can just finish something, and you can, start something new. But I think we also released 2 fixes like a year later, and was working on this thing for more than a year in general. It was totally bananas and stupid.
Well,
but yeah,
I can say I submitted a 3.5K yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's also an interesting thing about it. It's in kind of my part of the world with music production, it's often said that you should finish as many projects as you can, instead of trying to just polish your turd for years, because finishing something is a learning experience. And I think that, like you said, it frees up so you can times you can do the next production instead, but also it enables you to practice all the different phases of creating a demo, for instance. Like you have to, make all the individual pieces, you have to make all the artwork, you have to put it together, you have to make it run, on another computer, and so on and so on. So it's just like going the whole race, instead of starting something and then starting something new and then starting something new, also has some value. And I mean, then you also get to release it in a compo. So there's that.
Yeah. I
There's
think.
also the practice of actually releasing it, letting it go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of us, it's like, oh, it's not perfect yet, and we just can't. And that's a practice that if you get into, it becomes easier, and then you're able to move on and do something additionally creative with the next thing. And that is something that well, many of us struggle with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, and it's just I think with I'm fairly sure I can say quite honestly that I'm not happy with a single demo soundtrack I've done for years.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something, right? And
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
what typically, like when I work with Slummy, when we do the Amiga stuff with Spaceballs,
Mm-hmm.
we have a target party in mind.
Mhm.
We've skipped on it once or twice, but that's basically it. So we're doing this production. It's going to be a 40K, a 64K. It's going to be for a 500. It's going to be for 1200, whatever it is. It's going to be at this party, and that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Which makes for some hectic days right before the party. But it also kind of like fixing yourself on a goal, and this is what it's going to be. Also helps with that of letting it go because there is no other option.
Yeah.
And you just make a decision that this is for revision. This is going to be for revision. This is what it's going to be, and whatever we have,
Yeah.
well, realistically, a couple of hours after the deadline, is what is.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to be good enough.
But it's a good point you're making. Like a couple of hectic days before the party, you're gonna have that anyway. Even if you work on it for a week or half a year, you're still gonna have this crunch time. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've watched enough people make demos, and I participate in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a crunch time. I mean, even Frankie, we're doing revision for like 12, 13 years now, and one day before the party starts, I'm for a decade now. I'm like, could use another week to get ready, to be finished, to make it really good.
To make, yeah,
And
to
it's the
get
same. I
everything
think
done.
it's the same with making
Yeah.
demos or music or graphics or anything. It's just you can always use a little bit more time to make it better. At least in your mind, you can make it
I
better.
have 100 unreleased tracks on my hard drive that doesn't have a deadline.
Yeah. Speaking of finishing, I would like to finish this in 15 minutes because it's coming up on 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Revision standard time.
Yeah.
Let's take 15 minutes to talk about the old school demos.
Okay,
I'm gonna leave you here because I didn't watch much of it, and I'm gonna get ready
That's-
for going to bed soon.
hold on.
It
Wait,
was great
Frankie.
talking to you, Truck.
Dude,
And see you later.
See you later. It's also 4K and 256, and I have a couple of notes at least. Okay,
And
then
does the old school include the Amiga intros?
no, but we can cover them.
Okay.
But I would still like to finish in 15 minutes.
No, I got you. I just want to make sure that I can put some words in on the Amiga
No,
intros.
no.
Yeah.
Let's do the PC things first. PC 4K.
yeah, we can do that.
Sure.
I really just like to shout out LJ and Virgil's intro
True.
because I mean you can always do that. It's always going to be good. But I mean, first of all, the soundtrack was great, obviously, because once again it's Virgil doing his
Yep.
thing. But I liked the direction and the camera work a lot. It was a bit of a break, kind of more or less abstract than LJ sometimes do it, with this very clear with the satellite dish and then the meteorite on the sky. I
Yep.
really just like the camera work and the direction of it. So I'd like to mention that at least for the 4Ks.
Yeah, that was unusual. Also, I don't think it was inside. I think this is the first one in a long time that I've seen from theirs that wasn't an inside scene.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that, but when you say it, that's definitely a good point.
I will also point out that we had a firstie in the 4Ks. Subi was saying that he could use some help with the soundtrack. I kind of liked the soundtrack, but yeah, it was very repetitive. But again, it was a firstie, and it was incredible. And happy to see that. I do. Oh, and the pinball right before that. The from our friends in South America. Latitude Independent Association. I thought that was a step up from some of their other ones. It had a story. It wasn't necessarily a clear story, but it did. It progressed, and I that is I enjoyed that compo.
It was a good compo. It was like did not have the most entries, But once that were in there, they were good.
Yes.
A few were awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And again, a good place for people to start.
256.
256. Yeah, a couple of just shout outs really of stuff I just
Go ahead.
personally
Yep.
just liked. I mean, I'm not a size coder. I don't understand what's like
That's
amazing or
gonna be
not.
most of us here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I liked Sebert's entry, the Root Kids one. I think it was just pleasing. Had a nice soundtrack and just kind of this hypnotic Windows 3.1 lines.
Yeah.
Just pleasing to look
Line
at.
Rider, yes.
I liked it. And I also liked Gopher's one, which was very cool. Had this nice feint. And like because the first scene is it looks a bit basic, and you're just like, is that it? And you're just like, and then he holds it for just long enough that you go like, I guess that was actually it, and then just like bam,
Boom.
and that was just really cool. It's good showmanship, which is cool. And the final scene, like the actual scene, I guess you might even call it, was really cool. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I would go for Abaddon Rose Galaxy. It again, what I relate it to is a very classic Amiga 500 OCS effect, where you have the green vectors coming into you. The color palette was also very Amiga for me suddenly. It was like I am watching this on a floppy disk in '91 somewhere.
D.Fox left, but I'll mention he sat down right before it started, sat down in his chair, looked back in it, and then he looked at it and be like, "This is really nice and relaxing." Yes, it's just like yeah. So it's good. And I think the last one was just I really like the soundtrack for the Helmut 256 as well.
True.
It had this very nice and kind of interesting key changes and stuff like you don't necessarily hear a lot, especially in the smaller. And I was just like, that was cool. It surprised me. It was cool and progressive. So that was nice.
Any it was for you, Truck?
I think we've picked out everything. I had something, but it's gone from my head right now. So let's move on.
Okay, then I'm gonna stay with the intros, but the Amiga intros, because we should not forget those.
As I said, I thought that Ham knocked it out of the park, and I wasn't sure which I would give the nod to, but then Teo pointed out to me, yeah, but the Logicoma thing is on A500, and well, yeah, that takes it for me, you know.
That's gonna be it, yeah.
Because I mean, there is a difference, and I loved both of them. I really, really like the whole idea of the Logicoma thing, and it's a departure from a lot of their productions. It's yeah, there are so many things I could say about it, but this is not the time or the audience. There's a completely different audience for that demo that I'm not sure that they've all woken up at this point because they're on a different continent. But I'm really interested in seeing what some of the hacker community has to say about that particular thing. And I really liked that competition. Again, somebody said that they thought Void stepped up a bit. I think they did. Yeah. Oh, the thing about the previous one, I wanted to also say I appreciate what Sensenthal said with his size coded thing.
Yeah.
That's all I got for the Amiga things.
Yeah. I think I basically agree with Truck, which is weird in itself, but I do. So there you have it.
First time for everything.
Yeah.
No, we don't necessarily disagree on things. We just disagree on the length at which we talk about them.
We usually agree in theory, and then we start discussing the details, and then it goes off the rails.
Yes,
and then it goes downhill really quickly.
But yeah, it's just I think like the kind of like the software failure one was. That was like the traditional, right? This is cool and entertaining thing, and then the Logicoma one was just different, and it had a lot of these. It was just very different, and I would be surprised if not a lot of people were like, "It's over." because it
Yeah.
feels like it's just building up. And
They
then
were like
yeah,
waiting for like, and now it's gonna come the kick-ass soundtrack,
Yeah.
and it's gonna have all the effects, and it's
Yeah.
like done.
and I just like that it's different and
Yeah.
it's cool, and I think it's cool that we can have a compo like that. So yeah, I'm just and I guess still surprisingly agreeing with Truck. I also don't know who to give the nod to, but those were the two standouts for me in the competition.
Yeah. I am gonna give it to Logicoma because it's different.
Yeah,
That's
and it's OCS. So there's
that. No. If it would have been if it would have been a tie, then it would go with OCS. But it's just a tad above.
Mm.
So there.
So
Old school demos.
that leaves us with old school demos.
Old school demos.
Maybe we'll let Truck start.
I think maybe we ought to let FRANKy start with this one because, well, Proton finally got the thing over to you. And
Yes, and I said 3-4 minutes of it. So check the demo out on your own and watch it in full length. Now, what always happies me. To happy is not a verb.
Pleases you?
Pleases me
Yeah.
is the thank you. The amount of different platforms that you usually do not see. If you these are platforms that you would quite often see end up in a wild competition where they would get lost. But if you look at, you have MSXs, you have Wonder Swans, you have PC-ATs,
The client computer?
16-bit, the KC-85, the
65 slash
Eastern
4.
Bloc
Yeah.
thingy, your obvious C64, which will end up very good Game Boy demo.
Mm.
Tendon in by Rebels, the obligatory ST Nick,
Yep.
which
I would like
and-
to see. I'd like to see that trend come to an end.
Yeah.
I think we've.
well, yeah, like we have now almost had all the platforms, which is okay. I did mention it earlier on stream. Don't know if you're already. Charlie captured that on an Amiga bridgeboard.
It was a mention on stream as well. Just it's just beautiful. Charlie just get an Amiga in there
Yeah,
somehow.
like get an Amiga in there, put an AT board in there with the Gus in an Amiga, and just go with it.
Yeah.
So
I think
just
it's cool.
that is
On the STNIC thing, I think it's also that's again kind of one of the things, because if I'm not entirely wrong, the reason why it was a thing in the first place is because it has what it is either the amount of data. So it's basically like it's too much for it to really be faked, but obviously it is, but still somehow.
Yes.
And some of the platform ports has kind of had that same quality, and with because this was then 386, I'm not sure. And I just don't know, honestly don't know if that's still the case, or if this is now, because it feels like something that should be, fully possible to do on a 386 without kind of any issues.
Yeah.
But I really don't know, and I don't want to piss someone off about it. So
My whole issue with it, I mean, is, I've been people the whole meme of Truck and Bad Apple, but this is Bad Apple. This is Bad Apple all over again. It's just different animation content being played back by an animation player on a different platform. As RM Decadence said, take the compression algorithm, put it on your own thing, and then write your playback player. Then it's different. Then it's your content. But if you're just playing back an animation, it's an animation player.
But I guess the point of that is then it's no longer a benchmark, because that's kind of like the thing, and that is I mean that's definitely like the old school ways, like your sprite records and
sure, but
blobs and whatnot.
The
So
sprite records were different because it's a sprite record. You're beating something. This is rehashing the same thing. And okay, if it's a benchmark, that's one thing, but these are competitions. I don't have a problem with somebody creating it and releasing it outside of a compo. but putting it in a compo, and it's just, I guess it really comes down to, I don't like um taking, just taking points away, because okay, I've seen this before, it's the same thing, and I just can't give it the same points as something that somebody did, that from scratch, somebody created it. And of course,
No,
yes, nothing is really from scratch, um, but still, I
no,
I'd
I get
like
your
to
point.
see.
Mm.
I don't really want to see any more of them. I imagine we'll see two or three more, but I certainly wouldn't. If you're thinking of turning this into a truck meme, please don't. Just make something else.
Makes sense. I do hear you.
Yeah.
It's like it's a good proof of concept, and it's a good joke, but it's starting to have its run.
Then again, and I would be a hypocrite not to mention it. Same thing I had with the when we talked about the old school music stuff as well.
Hmm.
It's like I would share Truck's sentiment, but I would still be like, if that would makes you happy, if that's what you enjoy, then you should do that. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's more important than the meanings of one old man and a slightly older man as well.
Hmm.
yes, exactly. I mean, just because I'm upset, don't stop. But if you're considering doing that or something else, I'd encourage you to do something else.
Yeah. At
But if
least
it makes you happy, do it.
be prepared for it. If you rehash ST Nick again, then Truck's gonna rehash his comments on the stream.
Absolutely, that's gonna come right
That
back.
is a guarantee, yes, and you don't want to do that.
All right, let's talk about something I did like. I mean, the Game Boy stuff was really good. I thought it was entertaining. Just
Hmm.
like you said, the Rebels demo.
Sega
Uh,
thing was just
yeah, that was.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was like instant crowd pleaser.
yeah, it was good. And then also, obviously, Decadence again, just finding a new platform to do
Yep.
stuff on is fun. And yet again, it's a platform I know nothing about, so it's like a 3 megahertz computer. They're doing some cool routines, but I don't know anything about the platform, so I have no idea if it's good or not. I mean, it's probably good, given where it's coming from, but if it's amazing or not, I have no idea about it. But it was
Yeah,
still entertaining,
it's
nicely paced.
it's more or less, and I'm gonna now make many people very angry. It's close to a Game Boy
Mm,
as it comes to horsepower.
no,
Um, but it did not have. It's from, I think it was from Bandai originally, so it did not have the software support that
yeah,
a Nintendo could put behind it.
yeah,
And then certainly in the European US market, don't even know if it was actually released here.
probably not.
yeah, it was released sort of in the US. It was not released in Europe from what I remember. And there's some interesting history behind it, and one of the creators, and but that's platform information, not demos. So let's skip over Truck
Yeah.
going on about it.
And then I think the last thing I like to shout out, obviously, because Norway, but I really like the Proximus C64 demo as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool to see Lawat back in the scene. I mean, he already did stuff for Soul School a few years back, but he's definitely back and
Yeah.
doing cool stuff.
I think I forgot the name of the framework. Truck, can you remind me?
You mean our yes, it's something 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 something, and our
Yeah, it's
hold
it's
on. I'm gonna it's about like the Borland thing. I'm gonna look it up.
yeah. So it's this
Syntax terror or something.
multi-platform framework that you can, with like high-level code, get
Yeah.
get onto
Yeah, that they developed themselves. That Lawat basically wrote.
64, and that helps a lot. So you don't need to learn the assembler and all the addresses. It does a lot for you, and that's good
It's
actually.
it is
Turbo Rascal. That's it. Yeah.
Rascal
Yeah.
syntax error.
Yes. Yes.
TRSE.
Yes.
And of course, Turbo Pascal. And yes.
Yeah, but I also, in addition to that, really like the music, and it even had these kind of cool metal drumming breaks. That's
Mhm.
like which it was really surprising and really fresh. So I liked that a lot.
Yeah. That's if you look what was it Mibri and
Mace,
Mace?
Yeah.
M-A-2-E,
Yeah,
Mace, I
Mace.
guess. Yep.
Um, having organized Transmission 64 together with Mivri, it's ridiculous what he can do with a SID chip,
Mm.
and I think Mace as well. And then all the filters and the minute timings that they get out of it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's cool. But it's just like, once again, I'm not really like, I never done stuff on the SID, so I don't know all that stuff. But I just like the creativeness of
Yeah.
just having like this kind of metal drumming breakdown in a C64 demo tune. The first time I've heard it, which says not necessarily that much, but I just
That's
enjoyed
something,
it from
yeah.
like a songwriting perspective. Just like,
Yeah.
right, that's cool. That's a nice creative choice, and it was surprising in a good way.
I think the last time, and the only the people that I normally hear that from are uh, folks from Turkey, like Night Lord of Glance, who, if he's watching this, it was good to see you on the Meteorics thing, and we should get back in touch with each other. But the last time that I saw that type of thing or heard was in Glance's snapshot.
True. Yeah. It was a demo.
Thank you.
Just making sure. um, yeah, I think I've covered most of mine, which stood out. Um, yes, I'm gonna leave it at that. We've had the MSX, the Commodore 64, the Game Boy. I have not much more to say on the demos from today. That's a surprise. Anything for you, Truck?
I actually wish we would continue because I now have the problem that I have basically 2 hours to sit here and do nothing. But I know you guys have to sleep. But yeah, I'm because of the train schedules and so forth.
Isn't the airport train doesn't come by there? Because that runs all
No,
night.
no, yeah, this is in between that loop.
I like
Okay.
how we went from, can we finish in 15 minutes and quickly talk about the Amiga intros, because I like to
No,
stick to
I'm
now you
completely for
now,
shutting
Now
it
we're
down.
doing
now you starting a
public
discussion
transport in
about
Helsinki.
Finnish train schedule.
Yes.
I'm completely for shutting it down, and I don't have anything more to add. I just wish we could continue this
Yeah.
because I don't have anything to do now. So
I'm pretty sure Steltec will take over.
yeah.
Steltec would love to hear some stories about Estonian demo sceners, I'm sure.
We are hoping that I think Raver is there now. We're not sure, but also Digimind and I can see him in front of me right now. Why can't I remember his name? Old DOS platformer Keen. We're hoping that all of you are okay and that
From what I know, Keen is okay.
yeah. We're all none of us like what's going on at all. And if we could stop it, we would.
Well, on that sad note, let's round up. Because we are gonna doing this again tomorrow, and then maybe we can entertain Truck longer.
Yeah, or well, I mean, Mac is still playing. I don't know how much longer he's going to be playing, so I can actually watch those things. And we should probably set the stuff up so that when we're dealing with this and haven't had enough sleep tomorrow, we're able to get up and go. What is the first compo tomorrow? I could look at the thing.
It's much more fun to have Frankie try to remember it.
It is one of the first block is music and graphics again at 1-ish.
Yes, let's see. Executable music. Okay, I was actually wondering if we still had that compo because we didn't do it today. And then let's see, scene set, and then scene set getting jingled, and then streaming music.
Yes.
And then modern graphics.
And then modern graphics, indeed.
And then fast music.
And then after that is fast music. And wild.
and then 4K executable graphics, old school graphics, wild, animated GIF, paint over, and game. And then old school 4K intro. Huh. I did not remember that old school 4K intro is going to be.
Yes.
All right, and then the UNESCO seminar, which I have the T-shirt here. Hmm.
There you go.
Rerun of PC 64K. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That
Well,
gets
part of
mixed
it.
in. Well, yeah, it's just that block will get changed.
Yes.
So yeah,
We'll make that clear which of the entries in that mixed compo 8K 64K is a 64K. So
but I mean in the schedule, there's some wiggle room in the schedule where some stuff can move around.
uh, we have trained professionals who handle the schedule.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll just have to pay attention to it a lot tomorrow because no,
Okay.
it's not just that it is announced; it's whether we get food or not. Because Subi is 2 hours different from me, and so we have two different slots where we have to get food.
It'll get fixed. Good. That's it for me.
And for me.
For you as well. Truck, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Steltec, for sitting in the back and reorganizing the very nice program screen so that we no longer have to have the Turjitsi head over there. Thank you, D.Fox, for dropping in. Thank you for Spook for sleeping on the floor.
No.
And we'll be back, tomorrow in about 10-ish hours with more revision. Still online. And yeah, see you then. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you.